Hello.
Hello everyone. I'll start the recording as well. I think before we start our lecture of the day, I will just explain a few things about this China Studies track that we are starting today. Well, first, I would like to welcome everyone and also thank the professor from Zhejiang International Studies University for accepting our invitation and also to have the time dedication to explain a little bit for us and bring more knowledge about it to a Brazilian audience. So week is the first week of our China Studies track, and we'll have 5 lectures guided by the professors from Zhejiang International Studies University. And before introducing our professor, I will explain a little bit about the dynamic. This is the first week with Zhejiang International Studies University, but soon we will reveal other universities and other lectures and teams we are approaching these next weeks. And also about the certificates, I know everyone is very interested in that. They will be provided to attendees who participate in at least 3 of the 5 lectures we will have this week. And the attendance will be recorded after each class via an attendance form that I will send to you guys in the chat before we start the Q&A section. And also about the Q&A, make sure to send all your questions in our chat during the lecture, and we will compile and also ask some of them at the end. If we have time, we'll try to ask everything, but if not, we will compile and choose the main ones. Well, without much further ado, I will first introduce our professor of the day. We are really honored to host Dr. Zhu Hui. She is a professor at Zhejiang University, Zhejiang International Studies University, and she will explain a little bit more about Zhejiang economy. This lecture is the first part of a two lectures about Zhejiang economy. Well, Dr. Zhu Hui specializes in industrial clusters, regional space economy, and digital economy. And she has an impressive portfolio of research, and she also is the leader of 3 provincial scientific research projects, and also has the publication of over 10 articles across various academic journals. In our Instagram page, you can get to know more about her research and also a little bit more about her recent publications. Well, thank you, Professor Zhu Hui, again for accepting our invitation, and feel free to start your lecture now.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm very glad to meet you here today, and I'm honored to be invited to have this class. And in these 2 following days, I'd like to share my understanding about the Zhejiang economy. And I choose 2 topics. One is the private economy, and the other is market system construction. And why I choose these 2 topics, and because I think these are the 2 prominent issues in Zhejiang economy. Private economy is considered as a vitality of Zhejiang and an important component of the market economy in the province. And the market system construction gives a full play to the advantages of the mechanism and improve the socialist market in China. So today we were going to focus for the private economy at first. And so here are the contents for today's topics. And the first part, like you to have an overview of Zhejiang's economy. And I'm not so sure if you have come to this province or not, yet or not. So firstly, let's have a brief look at it. And the second, we will focus on the private economy itself to know the history of the development and to get answers. Why why Zhejiang has been considered as a leader or the pioneer in the private economy. And the third part is about the overseas plan of the private enterprises after the pandemics. Because some cities in Zhejiang are export-oriented and they have been severely affected by the epidemic. So how to cover as soon as possible after the pandemic is an important issue nowadays. And finally, so we'd like to draw the conclusion to get some experience from the development of a private economy in Zhejiang, and to get some if possible, to draw some suggestions needed. So here are the things that we're going to discuss today. The first part, okay, let's start from the overview. This is the map of the map of China and the map of Zhejiang. And you will notice here, this is the location of Zhejiang province, which is located in the eastern part of China. And the name was named after the river, the name of the river, that is Qiantang River, which is the longest river in the province. And there are two sub-provincial cities, which are Hangzhou and Ningbo, and another 9 cities in that province. And the provincial capital city is Hangzhou. Maybe you have ever heard of it. This is the host city for the G20 1960 and also the held 19th Asia Games last year. And also it is has a good reputation for its beautiful landscape. And if you have time, maybe later in the future, I'm happy to invite you to have a visit in Hangzhou. And also here are the representatives of the private enterprises. I've listed some of them, like Alibaba, a famous platform for B2B e-commerce, and NetEase, a leading internet and technology company in China, Geely, a global private enterprise, and Hikvision, a manufacturer with the largest market share in the global video surveillance. So these are the representatives of Zhejiang private economies, private enterprises. And before we start to have the detailed discussion about the private economy, let's have a look at the general condition of Zhejiang. For example, like the GDP. Well, since Zhejiang is a pilot, development economy leading provinces, you will see that Zhejiang has a good economic foundations. For example, like in 2023, Zhejiang province's total economic output continued to occupy the 4th place in the country, with 8.26 trillion yuan. Okay, so if we make the comparison worldwide, it is roughly ranked like 17th place in the world, behind Indonesia. And also in 2023, the per capita GDP in Zhejiang reached 125,000 yuan, ranking 3rd among all provinces. And according to the exchange rate, it exceeded $17,500 US. far existing income standards set by the World Bank for high-income countries. That is 12,276 US dollars. So if we also make the comparison worldwide, it is equivalent to the Poland, close to level to the moderate developed country. So we have to say that in Zhejiang, there is a good economic condition for development. And also in terms of the economic structure, we notice that the primary industry. The primary industry accounts for 2.8%, and the secondary industry accounts for 41.1%, and the third industry accounts for 56.1%. And you will notice that the third industry accounts most in terms of the economy. And here you'll notice the other services, the retail and the wholesale services, and the financing accounts for the top three separately in terms of the third industry. So these are the structure of Zhejiang province. And let's move on to the export and import. In 2023 in Zhejiang, you will notice that the total import and export amount reached to 4.9 trillion. It accounts for 11.67% nationwide and 1.43% worldwide. And in terms of the export, they reached 3.6 trillion, accounts for almost 13%, 13% point of the national in total, and ranked third in the country. If we can make the comparison globally, I think it will be roughly equivalent to the United Kingdom. These are the volume in total for the top 20 in 2023 in terms of the export worldwide. So Zhejiang's export is nearly at this position. Okay. So we can say that Zhejiang is primarily is an export-oriented province. So now we'll move on to our main topic about the private economy in Zhejiang. Private economy is an important component of the market economy in Zhejiang. So how important it is? So I will show you the figures at first. So we can make it into four figures like 6, 7, 8, and 9. At the end of the 2023, the private economy has reached 67.2% of the percentage of the GDPs in Zhejiang, and 71.7% of the taxes, and 80.2% of the import and export, and 87.5% of the employment, 96.9% of the market operators. So that's why I choose the private economy as our first topic today. So you can see the importance of this position of the private economy development in Zhejiang. And I just wanted to invite you to think the questions like why Zhejiang could be a pioneer of the private economy in China. So I'd like to draw you to make the history of the development of a private economy in Zhejiang and then have the answers together. I forgot to show you one list. It is the top 500 private enterprises in China. You will notice that in 2023, 108 enterprises in Zhejiang were listed in this top 500 and ranking first in China for the 25 consecutive years. These are the top 15 in that list, and you will notice that 5 of them come from Zhejiang. So let's go back to the question, why Zhejiang is a pioneer of a private economy in China? Okay, I'd like to guide you to have an understanding about the development history of the private economy and then have the answer together. Actually, if we divided the history development, the development history of Zhejiang's private economy, we can make it into 4 stages. One is the reform and initiation and exploration stage, starting from the late 1770s and 1980s. And the second is the building a market economy system framework, which is a rapid development stage at that time. And the third is the improving the socialist market economy system, starting from the late 1990s to the early 21st century. This is an important stage for the transforming and upgrading, because during that time, and I think the private economy has suffered some difficulties for the upgrading, and we can know that how to make the transformation from that difficult times. And the fourth is about comprehensively building a modern economic system since the 1920s. And since then, Zhejiang, the private economy in Zhejiang has been very important driving force and important platform for innovation and in entrepreneurship. So the first stage, starting from the 1978. So this is an older picture. You can see this is the first the first attempt to transfer the public enterprises onto the private economy. Though at that time, the public enterprises still represented in the form of collective economy. It has added some private factors, okay? But actually at that time, the private economy is still accounts more, like only 5%, 5.7%. And then some enterprises started to try to make some private factors like to operate the collective economy under the presidential areas, the street, or jointly by several people or the individual operation. And this is in the first, I think, the business lessons in China. In 1980, this woman named Zhang Huamei in Wenzhou received China's first business license for the individual industry and commerce after reform and opening up. And since then, the private economy started to develop. And urban enterprises took this economic system reform by breaking the even distribution model of the profit and rewarding the goods and punishing the bad, which mobilized enthusiasm and the creativity of the employees. And in that time, there were some kind of reforms taken place, kind of a collective economy factories, and or the picture of generation of a small commodity market in EU, and it is set up in September 1982. You'll notice that this is a very simple, and even in the that time, it's an open market, but nobody will know that this market has become a leading international commodity market in the world nowadays. And with the development of the 3 years, by the end of the 1982, Zhejiang province had approved over 80,000 individual industrial commercial household and over 88,000 employees. Time 1978 respectively. The development of the study this economy system framework and model come out. One is model of Wenzhou, and one is model of Taizhou. There are two different types of models to open and private economy. And firstly, it's about model in Taizhou. This is an older document which witnessed a kind of new way to have the private economy. It is named the joint household enterprise. And Taizhou is located along the southeast coast. It is a closed, backward, and impoverished agriculture area. And at that time, the rural area of Taizhou is extremely poor, and the industry is a bank place. It's something before. So, and that means, and can of the joint venture and be acknowledged in the forms of enterprises of a collective nature. That means it could be run by the privately, but also could be considered as a part of the public economy. So after that, a group of powerful private enterprises have merged. So this is a types of new way to develop the private economy in Taizhou, named joint household enterprise. And another way is the model of Wenzhou. Like Taizhou, Wenzhou is also a poor area with very few nature resources, the least per capita arable land, and the least environment from the government. And the transportation condition were poor too. So at that time, there were no airport, railway, and waterway, and there is only one way connecting to the outside. So actually, we have to say Wenzhou is does not have a very good condition for the economic development. So how to make that kind of non-agriculture industry? So Wenzhou refers to another way, that is the pattern of the small commodity and a large market. And in history, people in Wenzhou not only engaged in agriculture, but they also engaged in some family handicrafts or went out to do business. So this may be creating favorable condition for their patterns of a small community production and a large market construction. And in 1980s, the family economy and the spontaneous economy are booming, and over 100,000 individuals, industrial enterprises, and 300,000 distributors spread out nationwide. And here in 1983, the first rural specialized market in China, named the Yongjia Qiao Butter Market, set up. And actually, there is a very interesting story. It is said that someone in that town picked up a bag of discarded buttons and set up the button stores in the town and earned several hundred yuan. Many people followed and to turn to the button business. And in 1983, the farmers spontaneously setting up stores and do business with great success, inspired of Yongjia County's government. And the county approved establishment of the first small commodity wholesale market. So, which started as our kind of beginning of the development of the special market in Zhejiang, and later nationally renowned as a leading one. So this is another type of way with the pattern of this commodities production plus a large special market for selling. So let's come to the question. And I think if we wanted to make the answer, the first reason that Zhejiang could be the pioneer of the power economy lies in the spirit of daring for innovation. So in Taizhou, this is the first types of joint venture to make the private and the collective economy together. And in Wenzhou, this is the first specialized market to set up in the province. So the spirit of daring for information is quite an important factor for the development of private economy in Zhejiang. Okay, let's move on. Well, so to the third stage is the improving of the socialist market economy system, starting from the 1990s to 2010. And during that period of time, I think there were a number of giants come out. For example, like Wanxiang Group. In 2001, the Township Enterprises acquired an overseas listed company for the first time. And in 2003, Taobao appeared. And from then on, the e-commerce started to booming up. And in 2004, the first local bank, the Bank of Commercial of Zhejiang, was established. And in 2007, the first national report on social responsibility of the private enterprises has been released. That is the ZISU joint company. And in 2009, the settlement of the merger dispute between Danan and Wahaha has been ended. And Wahaha is also a representative of the private enterprise in Zhejiang. And also in 2010, Geely acquired Volvo. So these are kind of the big event happened during this period. And I will draw some like the representatives for explanation. I choose Geely Group. About this guy named Li Shufu. So Li Shufu is the founder of the first private car enterprises and one of the representative of the grassroots economy in Zhejiang. Actually, he has worked in many industries and suffered from discriminations. But with just 1 billion yuan. He dared to enter car enterprises and create a brand of Geely. And I think his persistence, pursuit, and enterprising spirit are admired by many people. So Geely was founded in 1986, and now it has become the top global enterprises in the world. For example, like in 2023, it ranks 225th in the Fortune Global 500. So I will show you one video to witness the fast development of the Geely Group during the past years. Okay. And also there are some other, you see, did I share the video? Sorry. Okay. And there are some other, like the representatives for the in the private enterprises in Zhejiang, like the founder of Wanxiang Group. Okay, his name is Lu Guanqiu, which is a very famous and entrepreneurs in Zhejiang province. And the Wanxiang Group actually is a typical manufacturing private enterprise in Zhejiang. It started its business in 1969, and with the 6 farmers to raise 4,000 yuan to establish an agriculture machinery repair factory. And in 1984, the company started to join the international market, tried to send the car, like the joint patents, to the outside, especially in the United States, which opened a market for the private economy enterprise outgoing at that time. And also this is a kind of new practice to open to the outside. And another typical example is the founder of Wahaha Group. And it's also kind of like the factory starting from our grocery located in a school, a very big, and actually this is a mini grocery in the school located in Hangzhou. But since then, the business started to expand and finally become an international working group to specializing for the drinking and the grocery and the other like other products. I think it has over packaged with the drinking water or the other beverages as well. So let's draw to the second reason of that question. So why Zhejiang could become a pioneer of the private economy then? So the second reason, I think, that will be the reasons that there are some leaders of the Zhejiang business. And in Zhejiang, we can say There is an older saying which called the 4,000 spirit, okay, which refers to the strong entrepreneur's spirit exhibited by the Zhejiang businessman in the process of entrepreneurship, and which could say, well, so traveling through mountains and rivers, speaking 1,000 words, trying even means possible, and endures countless hardship. So this is a kind of a reflection of the spirit of the businessmen in Zhejiang. They do not maybe care about they do not actually care about the difficulties, and they do dare to have some like the new practice in that area. So this is the second reason that I think could be to answer that question. These are the leaders. There are many pioneers of the businessmen in Zhejiang province. And in the fourth stage is about comprehensively building modern economic systems since 1910. So here I have listed some kind of policies supported by the government starting from 2015 to nowadays. And actually, this government supported the private economy development strongly in Zhejiang province. They have carried out a lot of policies and regulations to help to promote the high qualified development, like the 3-year growth plan or the several measures to promote the high quality development, and the 31 measures in 10 aspects to promote high quality development of the economy. And there's also one famous running, I'm not so sure how to say about it. It's the process to implement the maximum one round for reform. It means that if you go to do like the process of regulations and to get improvement of the setup or any kind of regulations in terms of a private economy, then you just go to the office, the government office at one time, and they can do all the process totally. So this is also a kind of a practice for Zhejiang. We call it run once only. So I think the third reason to that question will be the strong support from the government. So in conclusion, so why Zhejiang could be the private economy pioneers in Zhejiang, in China? So I think these are the 3 following reasons: the spirit for the innovation, and the leaders of the business, and the strong support from the government. Okay, so the next part, we will move on to the overseas plan of the private enterprises after the pandemic. And this is the news, okay? In December the 9th, 2022, shortly after the opening up to the outside after the pandemic. So Zhejiang province delegates seeks to get more orders to outside. So a business delegation from the East China's Zhejiang province started a 6-day trip to Germany and France on the front charted by the Provincial Department of Commerce, and try to find more like business opportunities in outside after the pandemic. And there were actually 2 stops at first, okay, and one is France and the other is Germany, and then later they also went to Japan and some other countries as well. So the campaigns is tried to send 1,000 business delegations and 10,000 enterprises to explore the international market. And this is also the first China's business team led by the provincial level commercial authorities to travel abroad since the COVID-19 pandemic began. So you will see that these are the pictures from the inspection and the shooting at the airport. So the delegations expected to visit the local market as well as the businessmen in Zhejiang routes to learn more about the local market and take part in the international exhibitions. And this is the first way or the practice to try to get access to the market outside after the pandemic. And according to the interviewed officials, hope that the companies will be more optimistic about their growth prospect and more willing to go abroad and communicate with other partnerships. And through such government-led business trip, which could seek more opportunities and cooperations in the future. So this is a kind of a way which send the team to the outside led by the government. And I think this is a kind of practice which has a kind of a new way, and the first way to do this. And the second is about China's small commodity city. Last year, EU, the biggest small commodity in the world, published a plan named Brand Overseas. It means that, okay, so the brand going global plan, it means that all the entrepreneurs and the private individuals in that community could enter that plan together to share the platform and of that plan. This plan aims to achieve the systematic and the large scale and the branded going global for EU market, merchant and products and supply chain services all together. And on November the 27th last year, that brand going global plan was launched. Okay, I will introduce this plan in details. Okay, you will notice that plan have actually 5 parts, 5 components. One is China Goods. Okay, China Goods platform provides free online stores for business owners. That means if you wanted to have a display of your product online, okay, so China Goods provide a channel to show your store, okay, online for free. And also another part is EU Fair. So EU Fair means that you can take the business international exhibitions abroad together. If you want to go out and see and to participate in international exhibitions, you can join and make a team together to have that exhibition. So EU Fair will also publish the latest information about the exhibition outside and to encourage you to go out together. Another one is EU Selection. So EU Selection provides full chain services for the business owners to show their product overseas and promote operations and fulfill orders. And I think EU Collection is a kind of like a window to also to give the supply chain services together, starting from your production and to the after sale in the whole chain. And also tried to make the promotion of your operation and to give the suggestion from the consultant and other services group in EU. And this is a kind of a way which I think it will be integrate or the powerful the support from not only the government, from the chamber of commerce, and from the commodity market itself. And move on. Another one is about FBC. The FBC, I think, is the overseas warehouse, which provides the overseas warehouse stocking and the logistics services for business owner, and the delivering products directly to the destination consumer country, and which will maybe facilitate for the warehousing and decrease the cost for the stocking and the logistics and the transportation. Actually, this is a kind of integration and to enjoy the benefit of the scale and try to decrease the cost for all the merchants in the market together. And the last is about the EU market. EU market is a platform for the business owners to build overseas sales and facilitate their independent market of the overseas business. That means you can make your overseas sales plan on that platform and try to build an overseas channel for selling. And here I draw a special example for that EU selection. This project here, there is one selection, especially in Brazil. It names the EU selection Brazil Exhibition Hall. Actually, it is located in São Paulo. I think that is the city of your location, right? And with an area of approximately 500 square meters. And EU market operators only needed to provide the samples and the basic product information and the partners, and can carry out the local specialties market for free, and they connected customers to achieve trade performance. But I don't find any pictures for that exhibition hall yet. So if possible, if you have time, maybe you can have a look to find if there is this exhibition hall existed and how it works. And I think maybe there were kind of laying out of the special commodities comes from EU, and maybe there are also various choices for the consumers at the local market then. And here I will also show you one new practice. I think that is the latest information about the combination of the AI intelligence with the selling online. So the China Commodity City of EU combined AI intelligent applications, okay, for the individual sellers in that market. So with the support of AI technology, EU boss confidently and frankly switched the languages from different countries and successfully achieved barrier-free communication for foreign business. And since we still have time, so I will show you the video to see. Okay. Sorry. How it works. Okay. Okay, I will try to. I will open another, okay, to show you that video. So anyone, can you tell me, can you see the screen of that video? It is uploading now.
Yes, but we are seeing your presentation.
Can you see the video?
No, I think you must have to change to another type of share.
Okay. Does that work?
No, we still on. Right now, yes.
Now the video is
Okay.
loading.
Okay, I will show you one, but it is in Chinese, but I just only show you one clip from that video. So this is a new application with the combination of AI and tried to allow the
производством и
yes, this one.
面对快速发展的互联网浪潮，义乌的商户们也在积极拥抱大数据、人工智能等数字技术。近段时间，浙江义乌老板娘爆火出圈，他们在视频中化身语言达人，熟练切换多国语言，介绍自家的生意。下面我们就来认识其中一位老板娘。
I am Chen Meijun, a business operator of EU International Trade Layer. Мы основным образом занимаемся производством и продажей различных игрушек. لدينا الآلاف من المنتجات ونقوم بإضافة عشرات المنتجات الجديدة يوميا. Bienvenidos compradores de todo el mundo a negociar compras.
这是义乌国际商贸城经营户陈美君用4种外语。
Okay, since the news is in Chinese, so I will make some explanations. You will notice that this private merchant is trying to explain its product in various types of languages. And actually, this is a kind of new appliance. And if the merchant in that market only needs to shoot a video in Chinese, maybe, and then it could be transformed automatically into actually up to, as I know, there are 36 languages in all. So this is, it looks very vivid and real. And I think this is a kind of a new way to make the broadcasting and for online sale in that market. This is the newest, like the technology for the selling of the small commodity in that market. So interesting, right? Okay, I will transfer to the screen. Wait. Okay. Okay, I'll transfer my screen back. Okay. Well, so actually, I think with those kind of technology, it means that maybe in the later future, this kind of way will be more popular with the better understanding and communication with the customers and the providers. Okay. So the last part, I'd like to take several minutes to draw the conclusion from the lecture today. So if we wanted to get some experience of the development of private economy in Zhejiang, maybe I can draw some keywords to share with you together. So the first one, it's about the spirit of Zhejiang. Maybe you have got the brave impression about the Zhejiang people and also the spirit of Zhejiang. I think there's no limit for the development, and they really tried to do something that they haven't done before. And the speed of the development is so fast, and the mode of operation is creative. So I think that is a kind of a feature for the private economy in Zhejiang. They have such a kind of way to face the difficulties and to start its business. Actually, it's in a very not so good condition actually at first, and tried to have an open eye to the outside, and not only just limited in the area in a nationally, but also to the outside. And the second, I draw the conclusion like the tireless effort. So actually the innovations and like some kind of practice needs that timeless effort to do it continuously. So actually the start of the business and private economy in Zhejiang has experienced almost 40 years, starting from the 1978. Yes, almost, right? And during that period of time, actually, it has endured generations to generations and empowered the private economy to a certain kind of scale. And this is maybe have done a lot of efforts together by many people. And the third one, I think, could be drawn like the service-oriented government. The government give a very convenient services for the private enterprises. Well, actually, there's a kind of like a concept in Zhejiang. The government thinks that the natural actually resources or the general conditions in Zhejiang was not so well. So the government could not provide a good conditions, not only for the not only for the loans or the support in finance or nor the support from other resources giving. So they have one thing that he think they can give, that is the service-oriented ideas or the attitude. So this is a kind of like the tradition for the Zhejiang's government to give the support for the development of the private economy there. And the last one, I think, is the innovation. So you will notice that with the development of the technology nowadays, especially like the international and AI, Zhejiang people and the businessmen always have a very leading or the first step to do something in that area. So the AI appliances is quite a good example to show how to make the latest technology into the business. So I can say the innovation is a kind of a spirit that was born to the private economy leaders in Zhejiang. So here that I think are the experience that we can draw from private economic development in Zhejiang province. And I hope that this will maybe give you some hint to know something about the Zhejiang's economy from today's lecture. Okay, 1 hour finished. Okay, so yes, that's it for today's lecture.
Thank you, Professor. It was excellent. I think everyone learned a lot today. Actually, something I know lots of people from Zhejiang, And something that I always hear them saying is that they can do business with everyone from anywhere. And that's something that I heard from many people from Zhejiang, people that don't know each other. So, and this lecture helped me understand why they think like that, and showed me that it is the truth. They can do business with people anywhere. So I think we have a bit of time to answer some questions. Before I send the attendance form, I would like to start with a question of mine. And after, if people want to ask, they can either send on the chat or just start speaking. But my question would be focused on the first part that you explained about the government incentives and the government support to this growing economy. How is it right now? I mean, after this post pandemic sector, and also, is it something the province government that has these incentives, has those programs, or is it more of like the central government that starts those programs that help to develop Zhejiang economy? Thank you.
So you mean the local government?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, this part, I do not have a very detailed explanation. Actually, you'll notice that Zhejiang province carried out a lot of like the rules or the regulations to help to promote the development of a private economy. Like the local government stressed several measures, which means 30 measures in 10 aspects. This is a kind of like the policy. In many ways, to try to this is kind of, I think will have like some policy stimulative policies, for example, to reduce the taxes for some private economy, and also to maybe to encourage some like the famous or similar like a similar providers to go together to outside, or it is all led by the government. Just I mentioned before, they will send a team together and led by the government to go to and attend some exhibitions, and also to maybe invite those private enterprises to go to the platform, just like the EU commodity platform or some other platforms. Okay, because Zhejiang is also a famous place, a famous city for the digital economy. So since this part, my colleague will also make an explanation later, so I do not have the explanation in my lecture. So actually, there are many platforms for the economy, digital economy, and the government will also invite those private enterprises to go there and to have a like facilitating them, not only actually the whole supply chains, starting from the providing and to reduce the cost of the production, to give the services consultant the services to improve like the operation or the process of production, and then even to the transportation. And because of the scale of the like the logistics clusters, so they can lower the price, and also the measures just we have mentioned, and to have some kind of explicit display windows to the outside in other countries. So I think the government has done a lot actually in the past 3 years after the pandemic. I hope my explanation is satisfactory.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
Okay, I got a question, but it goes away. I cannot find the question there.
I think Guilherme is asking, do you want to speak, Guilherme, or can I read your question?
I can't. I noticed there's one question, but the screen disappeared.
I can read the question. Is that okay?
Okay.
Guilherme has a question. He says, the government plan has what power over the decisions of the private market agents? If there are a government planning, the contracts should be interpreted by the perimeters of the plan, or the planning has power just over the administration, and the private sector may follow it or not as they want. I think he's more concerned about the regulations, how the company should act specifically related to the regulations.
Sorry, I didn't get the point actually. I'm doing.
Yeah, it's mostly the government plan has what power over the decisions of the private market agents, and like how the private enterprises are related to the government plan, how strictly they should follow it, and what are the flexibility, what they can do inside this government plan. They should follow everything, or is mostly to help them to develop something related to this sense.
So that means the planning. So how to attract or how to encourage the private economy enterprises to join that plan? Is that mean? So that means the willingness of the private sector to join the plan. Is that a part that is that a question they wanted to say?
Yes, I think it is in that sense.
Okay. So, well, actually, so in Zhejiang province, as far as I know, maybe the government, the relationship between the government enterprises is not actually like the same ideas just we have in our traditional concept. Actually, I think the government in Zhejiang province were more likely to be a helper or our assistant. They really wanted to maybe to give the help to the private sectors. I think this is a different kind of like a way for the corporation. It comes from the ideas, I think, the traditional way, because just I've mentioned before, and maybe in some other countries or some other ruling ways, the government is a kind of person or the role to make the control or to make the regulation to guide all the things together. But maybe in China, in Zhejiang especially, I think this is kind of a way. Of course, there were some guidance, but also maybe they were trying to give the helps, actually, the real helps for the private economies, actually. That's why I say maybe there will kind of like the first practice, like the first joint household, or the first like the license could be taken place in Zhejiang. This is kind of a new practice, but you see, if that it works, if that really help the private economy development, the government will do that in Zhejiang province, I think. And how? I think maybe there will be a kind of like the cooperation style. So, for example, after pandemic, a lot of private enterprises said there is less opportunities, has lost the market, and they are in the dilemma for the business conditions, and I think the government will firstly maybe will ask to invite some of the enterprises, the businessmen together and have the discussion together for the solution. And I think this is a kind of a way. Firstly, I think it's the position for the government role that could maybe encourage those private agents to come to join that plan, because the plan may be worked out together by the government and the enterprises together. This is not controlled or regulated only by the government. So I think this will be the different way to find the solutions then. Could be.
Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
I don't know if we have any more questions. I just wanted to remind everyone to fill the attendance form so we can give you the certificate. And if we do not have any more questions, I would like to thank Professor for this excellent lecture. And before ending our session today and reminding everyone that we have another lecture tomorrow, I would like to invite everyone to turn on their cameras so we can take a picture, like a virtual picture. Is that possible? Let me just stop the screen share so we can.
Okay. And I also recommend you to see if the EU selection is open in São Paulo, because I didn't find any picture online, but I noticed there is one in Brazil. So I'm curious about it too. So if someone go there, maybe you can share the picture with us.
Perfect. If anyone is in São Paulo, please look it up and try to take some pictures for us. I'll try to take the picture.
Usually when it starts.
Sorry?
What?
Pardon. Usually when it starts the youth election in São Paulo.
I noticed that it's active last year, but I'm not so sure if it opened or not. But the project launched last year, the end of like November last year.
Very good. Thank you.
I'll try to take a picture. Let's everyone.
I have a question.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have a question. How have the ranking and the financial system of Zhejiang has evolved in the time of commerce change? How has the city of commerce grown in the same way as the banking system in the region? I have seen you put up the Zhejiang Chuzhou Commercial Bank. How has this been a partnership with the enterprises?
So you mean the development of the commercial bank in Zhejiang? Hello? Hello?
Annelise is saying that is still with us.
Hi. Hi. Uh-huh. Your question, you wanted to know something about the commercial development in Zhejiang?
The commerce has been partnered with the banks, and how has this financial world become a partnership with the enterprises, private with the sector of
So you mean the private? No, that is actually the private setting bank to set up. So you mean that the shares of the holders, how to make it? Sorry, maybe my phone is not so clear for the question.
No, I have been asking how has the banking system and like investments has been made with the partnership of banking from the province and the partnership of enterprise who are grown their privately.
And so actually for the banking system, there is a kind of like more complicated, actually, I have to say. And for the banking system, in China, in Zhejiang, as far as I know, there were some like shareholders as listed in the stock. And how to make it, actually, there was some kind of a public like a guidance to make some regulations directly, because in China the financing department will have a very strong and like the regulation guidance from the central government and also the local one. So I think maybe the financial part is a little bit different from other private enterprises, like some other, like the merchant or some other like the service enterprises. This is will be more sophisticated, because there are kind of maybe also from the local government, but also the guidance from the central government. Maybe this is needed to make the balance together. Though China in Zhejiang, there are some flexible like the practice in terms of the private policy, but I think in this way, especially in the banking system, maybe this is not so flexible. Maybe there will be more like strong like the guidance or some other ways to make the control there.